Welcome back, folks. MTG Joe here. Today we are be doing a weekly meta installment for Standard Best of 3. For those of you new to the channel or to these segments, each week we look at the top performing decks on Arena based on various formats. We did Best of 1 Standard yesterday. You can check that video out. There's a playlist. And I'll be curating some information for Explorer as well. Historic will probably be off this week. It tends to be the slowest to kind of aggregate data sets. And the way we're doing predominantly for the data is coming from UntapGG. It's a companion tool that runs alongside your Arena client, tracks your win rates, syncs your deck collection, so you can see what decks you can build, which you're missing, and then kind of tracks every user's win rate and then puts together these like really helpful kind of indexes in terms of overall performance. If you want to get started, it's free to get started with it. The link is in the video description down below. Just follow that link, you can get it installed. And I will post the deck list in the video description. Always forget to mention that, so you can just import it easily into Arena. For this week, normally what we do is we look at Platinum to Mythic, but because it's only been less than a week of the new set on Arena, we'll be looking Gold as well, 13,000 games played. For this week as well, it's a little bit early in the Best of 3 cycle, so I have kind of poked around and pulled together various lists that I think are relevant for this first week. And jumping into it first off, it's an Ob Nixilis world. We're just present in it. But 57% win rate, 58% for Jund Midrange. And this is effectively a Rakdos deck splash green for Esika's Chariot predominantly. So Chariot can copy the non-legendary copies of Ob Nixilis. So you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 copies to your heart's content. Otherwise, it's just kind of a Rakdos value mid-range. You have stuff like Bloodtithe Harvester, Tenacious Underdog that all work out in that shell. Some Meathooks, cheap removal early. You have Fable and Mirror Breaker as some utility as well. And then you also have Unleash the Inferno as just some more removal coming in. And then some Lolths to kind of grind it out. You'll see, like, for example, with this deck, I'm missing to the Jund Triomes. If I want to build this deck, I have 17 rares. 20 mythics, so I can easily kind of put that together. Sideboard wise, you just get like Duress versus Control, Ray of Enfeeblement versus the various mono white aggro lists, some more Strangles, Grasps. Opportunist comes in the grindier matchups. Predator is a hard to kill threat that gets around Vanishing Verse, and then Sorin to grind out as well. So from Jund, we go over to Grixis, and very similar to the last list, you have a deck that's base Rakdos that is splashing. The third color in this case is blue. With that, you get Expressive Iteration as a card advantage engine, as well as Kaido Suzuki for some additional looting style effects to kind of work in that regard. Similar idea, you have your Bloodtithe Harvesters and Underdogs that can be sacked on turn 3 to Ob Nixilis, your Meathooks to catch you up. Very similar, like you have your Grixis lands here now at the Triome. Your creature lines to kind of grind out as well. This version here, you get access to some counter spells, as well as you're playing Orvar for the Mires. If Ob Nixilis forces you to discard, you can have it come down, either copy Ob Nixilis or any other permanent on the battlefield. So you get some utility out of that. We see Azorius Control, kind of Azorius Planeswalkers. This is really kind of a mid-range-ish list in a way, 15 creatures. So you have Elspeth, which can get you any 3 mana permanent. So that can get you like Extraction Specialist, which can reanimate stuff. You have Wedding Announcement. Nico Aris can also be hit. Spirited Companion for card advantage. Cleric or Ambitious Farmhand or even Hermit. So some utility there. Removal and counter spells like Otherworldly, Fateful Absence. Some Jawaris mixed in. Legion Angel package in the sideboard. And then the Wandering Emperor. You have also Farewell as a sweeper. It's odd that it's formatting like this. No, it's not my Zoom. Just weird export right now. Farewell and Amiria's Call. Postboard, more sweepers when needed. Orvar versus the Rakdos matchup. And then just like versus Naya Runes, you have Archon Emiria, big mana decks, you have Redain. You also have some Disdainful Strokes as well scattered in there. And then we have another take on the Jund deck. This one's a little bit more treasures oriented, so I wanted to kind of call this one out. So you have your Goldspan on the top end. Similarly, you do still have the Tenacious Underdog, but you're not playing your Bloodtithe Harvesters, which we see in like this version. You have your Fable, the Mirror Breaker, still in here. Courier's Briefcase gives you both a creature and it's a treasure to ramp you up ahead. Late game, it's not difficult with these decks. You generate a lot of treasure to kind of turn that on as well, to get some utility in that respect. Riveteer's Charm, Jund Charm, is very good against like Goldspan Dragons, or give you some card advantage, or even Graveyard Exile. You have Zatora on the top end that can throw things at your opponent, as well as Titan of Industry. You still have the Chariot Ob Nixilis package, and then this one you have like Urabrask versus kind of the control-y matchups, so burn down the house. It's just some more removal, hand discard, and protection. So we have that from Untapped. I went through, so this list by Ryume went 5-0 in a traditional standard event. So for the play points now, it's mono green Stompy, and we see kind of the inclusion of Gnarled Professor, return to that with like a learn package. We also see Workshop Warchief, the new card, Thragtusk style card. Enters the battlefield, gains you 3 life. When it dies, you get a 4/4 and you can also blitz it. The tokens can all be copied with like Chariot, and then you have 6 fight spells scattered in there as well. You have some Wrens, Outland Liberators, protection spells, and then kind of your Learn lesson board, as well as a natural growth, usually brought in for the creature mirrors. And then lastly, I'm not going to go through every single deck. Another content creator, Charizard James, the one James, does Stream League. So this was a tournament held yesterday or Sunday. 44 players played in it. It was standard. $1,000 in prizes that were awarded. The top 2 decks were actually pretty much stock Naya Ruins. Pretty much just the lands that were added. We see like a Vivian of the Hunt, new card from the set in the sideboard there. This deck with the trample and kind of the resilient threats plays fairly well into a lot of the black-red style decks. Notably, when there's a lot of white exile-based effects, it's pretty bad. But because a lot of folks were anticipating Jund, it actually had a pretty good showing. We see like the Jund mid-range decks, which we saw, kind of a similar one to this last one. That's the treasure package. There's a Jund Werewolves deck that's like Halana and Elena. So I'll just link this here. There's like Elliot Dragon, another streamer, played a 4-color Reanimator deck. Some Control, Mardu mixed in there. So if you want to take a look at the deck list here, there's a bunch you can take a look as well. So I'm going to wrap it up for this best of 3 standard. If you do have any deck lists that are doing really well for you, drop it in the comments, share with others, and we'll be back next week with hopefully a bigger data set and get you some more decks available. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.